Do good work is not a label, but a way of living. It is the constant and diligent effort to achieve a new level of excellence in one's own life. It is the hidden inner beauty behind the struggle to achieve excellence. It's not perfect, but imperfect. It is the effort, discipline, and focus that often goes unnoticed. The goal of Do Good Work is to highlight that drive. The guests I have on this show emulate this drive in their own special way. You'll be able to apply new ideas into your own life by learning from them. We will also have one-on-one episodes with me where we'll dive into my own experience with entrepreneurship and leadership. Every episode is designed to provide you with ideas that you can apply and grow in excellence in all areas of your life, business, and career.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is going to be a particularly special episode, and I think we'll be doing more of these solo episodes again. I've been asked a few times to do this, and today, I'm in San Diego, as everyone knows, and when everyone thinks of San Diego, they think of blue skies, and it's been warm. But if I look outside my window here on the second floor, it's cloudy skies, and it's a bit chilly, and cold by my standards is around, anywhere sub 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So if I go work out in the morning, usually I go to Poway for a buddy's house. He's got his whole gym set up over there. It's around anywhere between 37, 38 degrees Fahrenheit, anywhere to 42 to 48. So depending on that, that's what I consider cold. So I just wanted to put it out there because a lot of people that I talk to that say that San Diego's perfect weather, well, it does get cold. So can't wait for the perfect weather to come back. But what I wanted to talk about today, and the reason why I wanted to go solo today, and you'll see more of these coming out, and let me know what you think, is I want to talk about the fact of becoming more human. With the podcast, we talk about how to improve your life, your career, your business, and stuff like that. And that's really, really great. And looking at the hidden beauty behind the struggle. And I think I want to focus a lot on the things that aren't shared behind the curtain, behind the work, the things that people don't highlight, the things that the people who post on Instagram, that fake reality, the things that they don't actually post, the things that actually aren't shared in the public. And I do want to come back and talk more around that, but becoming more human, I think the way that I want to apply it here is for you to understand when you're looking and you're growing your company, when you're running your team, when you're working at a W-2 job, or you're employed, or you're working from home, and you want to start a side hustle, or you want to start your business, or you want to grow your business, or you want to continue to expand and add new products or services, it all starts with you. And it doesn't start with what other people think or post about what success is. And I see this happen all too much, and I've fallen into this trap. I think a good practice or a good example of this in my life was when I was in college. As some of you may know, if you've heard this podcast, that I was in part of an entrepreneurship program that absolutely changed my life. That program was one unit. And if you've gone to college, that's pretty much peanuts when it comes to credits. It didn't really count towards anything. It was like an elective credit. So it counted like nothing, but it was everything. It was pretty much the college experience for me to be exposed to entrepreneurship. And I remember being young and being fascinated with the startup world, the grind, the hustle, and all this cool stuff, right? And it's almost like an illusion that I created in my mind that, entrepreneurship is a sexy thing and running a startup is amazing. And until we took a field trip to a local business owner. And we went to his office here in Kearny Mesa. If anyone's familiar with San Diego, that's almost like business district for some businesses, right? There's definitely lots of hot spots, but that's one of them. And when we went in, we saw the mundane, day-to-day, boring life of what it is to run an actual profitable business. Not the exciting stuff that they sell you in the books or in the startups or in the pitches or the podcasts. And this is not to say anything bad about that company. I just want to highlight the saying that success is boring and success is what you define it to be. Now, this isn't to be this whole philosophical argument about relativism. It's not, but it's just defining what makes sense for you. What is success for you? How do you measure success? can you measure success by, for example, me having time in the afternoons just to go surfing? That's not a dollar added to the bank account, right? So how do you actually measure success, and how do you look at success? I know that being able to reflect on a wild year and then like this new year that we're coming into, and being able to look at what is actually valuable to me. And I think that's the core thing that always needs to start. What are your core values, and what are the whys behind your wants? And really digging into that, because growing or starting for growth's sake, for starting thing just because you can, quote unquote, or just because we should, or why not? That's okay to start. That's an okay path to lead, but that's not sustainable. That's like walking on tape, like scotch tape across, and trying to build a bridge with scotch tape. It's an illusion. Okay? It's an illusion that can be a solid foundation. So you really want to define, like, when I'm starting this business, or I'm adding this new line of business, or I'm creating new products or services, what does it actually look like? Who am I actually helping? And how can I show up in the best way that not only makes most sense for me, my family, my career, my skill sets, my health, but also for the other party? Because we can never forget that either, right? We always talk about planning and vision setting and goal setting, and usually that's one-sided, only about you. And going back to like the book Productive Profits, not to say that you got to read the book, but that's why I started the first chapter with asking, what are you called to? Because when you ask, what are you called to, it steps outside of your own wants and seeing what is actually surrounding you, those around you, with your skill sets and how you can add value. Because no matter what kind of product or service you're going to create, or you're building, or you're growing, you're scaling, if it doesn't help people, it doesn't matter. And I remember that. And then going a little bit deeper, when you're actually building that, what does the success, the end game, the outcome look like? Is it this fake goal that you'll never achieve? Is it building a $10 million company, which is achievable, but is it something that you're just going to do over a weekend? Probably not. So just being able to see, when you have that, then what? And I think that we fail to understand that the type of life that you want to live, the type of legacy that you want to leave to your future generations, or the type of impact that you want to create. And impact means adding value. You gotta work backwards from that. You gotta dissect it and become more human. Like, if I'm working, for example, as a personal candidate, like if I'm working 18-hour days, I'd be a pretty horrible husband. Pretty horrible every single day. I definitely try to avoid that. But then I'm also looking, how can I leverage technology, communication, and also my brain to do what typically can take 18 hours into 4 hours a day. And I love working. That's my problem, but it might be your problem too. But it's just looking at, what are the other metrics that matter in your personal life? What are the other things that would be super important, right? If you're listening to this, I highly recommend you listen to a podcast episode by Ari Meisel. I recently interviewed him on the podcast, and I want you to listen to his podcast. Just Google or just search Ari Meisel podcast, and the title of the podcast is called Scaling. And he talks about this very important aspect, that you can't just attribute like the money in your bank account as a form factor of success. Like, what if you helped a team member do something they could never do before? How do you quantify that? You can't. That's a human element. How do you quantify understanding and reading 10 books in a month? You can't. That's just going back to humanities. It's becoming more human. And I find that the more that we become more human, the happier we are. And isn't that incredible? Just being human, becoming happy. Because at the end of the day, why are you doing what you're doing? It's 10 out of 10 humans will tell you they just want to be happy. It's not, I want to be happy so I can grow my business. It's, I want to grow my business so I can be happy. Well, what does happiness mean to you? I think the most authentic introduction to the podcast I've ever made thus far, not that none of these are authentic, but I always ask everyone, what's your mission? One of the most authentic was the young lady, Corey. And she mentioned that her mission is to be happy. How simple is that? How wonderful and profound and simple can that be? So, as you're building your company, as you're starting your side hustle, as you're growing what you're growing and doing what you do, ask, what is enough? Where do I draw the line? Where am I doing it just because either an external factor is telling me I should be doing it, or this is what the society is leading me to? And this isn't to think small. Absolutely not. I will always want to encourage you to think big and to maybe multiply your goals by a couple, multiples, so that you can, dream big, think big. But I also don't want you to get sucked away from your life and to become less human. So that's the thought I have for you on this podcast today. I know it's a little different than what we've been doing. If you like these, please just message me, let me know. You can email me directly. So if you've finished to the end of this podcast, congratulations. You're the one that actually listens to an entire podcast episode. You know who you are. But if you finish this and if you like this type of episode, just email me at Raul, R-A-U-L, at dogoodwork.io. You can just go to my website, copy that URL, and then just put Raul at dogoodwork.io and email me. Just tell me, give me your feedback and ask me any questions there as well. So I'll be doing more of these if you find these valuable. And we'll go from here. And until next time, do good work.